Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap. I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome, ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white Vickers. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah, I don't like niggas. What's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog. The app is an easy way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and New York, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog app. Use code MASECAM or STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits with your first deposit and a free pick. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your host Mase. Cam will be back, and today we are joined with our analyst Trysta.
Trysta, how you doing?
I'm good. It's a beautiful, sunny Monday morning.
I think I lost my voice yesterday.
How? What'd you do?
Can y'all hear me well?
Yeah.
You're definitely got a little rasp in your voice for sure.
Yeah, I sound like Jada Kiss right now. Sound like Glorilla right now.
Still good though. It's still good.
You got a little gurgle in there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Hey, yo, that was wild. It's too
Pause,
early.
sorry.
It's too early for that. How you guys doing? How was your weekend?
You know, mine was good. Did a couple things. Like you said, Titletown's on the move, even though I'm not in Titletown yet, but we on the move.
Yeah, Stat was doing it big this weekend. I saw her maxing, relaxing, and she was doing stuff in Palm Desert, Palm Springs for Jumpman. Not just for Jumpman as a whole, but was doing her tennis thing. I see you.
Yeah. The little bit thing. She was on the move, man. She was on the move.
Jumpman.
Yeah.
I like that.
Them boys up to something. So, hey, I was out there. Had some things to do. Handle some business.
We need some really big rings.
And do. Coming soon. Coming soon. Trysta, how was your weekend? They said, I'm proud.
She's always working, always diversifying her portfolio.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just making sure that she's out there building the brand. My weekend was chill. Hung out with some friends, hung out with some family, super low key. Just not outside really much at all.
No, that's good.
And that's good. I mean, something good happened for all of us this weekend.
Facts.
Mine's is probably not as big as yours, Stat, but you know, one of the championship college teams reached out to me to be the chaplain of their football team.
Wait, that's lit.
Wow.
That's super dope.
Can you say who it is yet?
Yeah, Titletown is on the move. We on the move. I can't tell you which one because I got offers. I got two big universities that are asking me to be the chaplain for their football team. So that's a really good thing. And a basketball team too. That's the champs as well. It sounds like our championship pedigree of Titletown is making its way other places. People like the insight they're getting in the background, and it's making me believe I need to start doing mentorships.
You should.
It seemed like people that are listening to me are winning, like at sports and at life. So it's something I'm seriously considered. I did it one time in the summer for about the whole summer. I did this thing where I was mentoring people from all over the world. And that's what I was doing at 5 o'clock from like 5 to 6. And it was going so well that people wanted to stay with it. So I'm really thinking about what else I could do to give back because that's a really good opportunity.
What age group were you mentoring?
Grown people. Grown people that some people that have lost their way, people that's trying to get back on their feet. Single mothers. I think when things like that happen, when you get blessed to a certain level, you're responsible to reach back and help other people.
I totally agree.
But what's
And
up, Stat? We're
yeah.
here for it is what
Yeah,
it
we'll get to
is.
that. But in the comments, y'all can comment down below if there's a particular area you guys want Mase to talk to. I'm gonna say the youth, younger people who are trying to get into their hey, let's see what the comments got to say. So y'all make sure y'all let us know. But first, Mase and Trysta, we're gonna talk about LeBron LeGoat James.
Yeah.
So he went viral for confronting Stephen A. Smith courtside.
That's what it seemed like he was. Yo, I thought it was an AI moment. Go ahead, finish that. But I'm so ready to talk about this.
Yeah, no, ready to hear what you got to say. So he went viral for confronting Stephen A. Smith courtside. Stephen A. Smith then confirmed. He said, he approached me during the game and he said, "Stop fucking with my son. That's my fucking son. So stop fucking with him." So as LeBron continued, he said straight up, man to man, real talk, stop fucking with my son. So LeBron made it very clear to Stephen A. And Stephen A. clarified via Twitter because everybody was asking him, okay, what happened? What was the confrontation? What are you going to say? He said, I didn't want to have to address this. I wouldn't have either had it not gone viral. Now I have no choice. So then he further clarified what the conversation was. There's a lot of back and forth on should he have said something, should he have not? But I want to ask you first, Trysta, what's your opinion on the confrontation to begin with? Just seeing LeBron go and approach Stephen A.
Oh man. I think Mase is right. Like, it just caught me by surprise. Like, and I wondered what it was because I didn't know what the comments were at first. I just saw that it was viral, and sometimes they leak out what they think the lip readers are saying. And I had a feeling that it was in regards to Bronny, because I remember that like a couple of days earlier, Stephen A. was like, as a man, as a father, I plead with you, LeBron, stop bringing Bronny into this mess. And I was like, oh man, what is this dude doing? And so it didn't surprise me that LeBron checked him, but I don't think Stephen A. really needed to say, oh, well, it went viral, that's why I'm responding. Stephen A. was gonna respond no matter what. Like, Stephen A. wants to continue the ratings. He's the EP of First Take. He just got a huge bag to stay with ESPN. I think he's like top 3 broadcaster now in all of sports. So he wants to continue to build that momentum. But I thought it really also showed, LeBron is not tripping off of how good the Lakers are going to be. He has Luka now. He can just leave. It was in the middle of the game, y'all. It wasn't like pregame. He left the bench. He came over to him in the fourth quarter, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and checked him right there in live action.
I don't buy any of it. I don't. I really don't. I'm thinking about it. If LeBron walks up to Stephen A. and he checks him, right, where could it possibly go? There's nowhere it could possibly go. If you think about it, if LeBron hits him, what did he get sued for? About $50 million? What is it? Stephen A. versus the Lakers, Stephen A. versus LeBron, Stephen A. versus Bronny. All of that is in Stephen A.'s benefit. All of it goes to his benefit. The ratings go to his benefit. The conversation goes in his benefit. Only thing LeBron could do is lose in that situation. It's nothing he could really do. So when people say he checks Stephen A., it really just showed that it's getting to him, actually, because as your son get to a certain age and he's playing the sport, if you don't get him in this league, we're really not having this conversation. So you put him in a position to get that scrutiny. If you didn't think he was ready, it would have been better to not bring him to the league. And I say that with all due respect, but it's really just all bad on LeBron's part. It's everything about it points to higher ratings for Stephen A., more money for Stephen A., more looks. And you got to watch out when people start talking about you in any capacity, because when they do it consistently and you respond, it forever links your names together, right? So there's people that latch their names on the Stat Baby. Let's say Stat Baby get going and you get bigger and bigger and bigger, or Trysta get bigger and bigger and bigger. And some little girl somewhere just says, you know what? I don't have that celebrity. But if I say something about Stat and she's unwise enough to comment back to me, then that links us together, because now everywhere Stephen A goes, people are asking him about who? LeBron. And when you're the face of a league, when you're considered a GOAT to some people, he put his name with the GOAT without ever playing any basketball, without ever running any laps, without scoring 50,000 points. His name will eventually become synonymous if you keep arguing with him, because every time they'll bring this up, you'll have to tell people, don't ask me about that individual as LeBron. Because people going to want to know it, because it's something interesting. And not only do you now link it with LeBron, but now it'll be linked with Bronny. And who knows, if Savannah goes somewhere, somebody might ask her the same thing. Well, we asked LeBron this, but how do you feel about it? And you just never want to put somebody in your story if you don't have to. So I know a lot of times I'm saying stuff, but I'm just saying it to give the objective view. I have nothing against LeBron. I don't get anything by trying to diminish his greatness or anything like that. And I wouldn't want my name synonymous with his. I wouldn't want my names attached to his because of hating on him or saying something that was in opposition of him. But as celebrities, we must watch out about that. That's why when some people say something about me, I don't have nothing to say.
Do you think, because the thing that I thought was interesting about this, in like the consequence for Stephen A, because you mentioned like all the pros for Stephen A. The one thing that he mentioned Stephen A did is that NBA players now will not pick up his calls. That was an inflection point for some players that he had relationships with. Do you think that's meaningful at all?
But why wouldn't they pick up his call? Because he gave his honest take. See, the thing about this generation, and not just this generation of basketball players in general, people deem anybody that have an opposite view as hating. But I'll tell you when it becomes hating for me. When it becomes hating for me is when a person consistently talk about you. When somebody's consistently saying something, then that is hate. And that's why after this, I don't really want to talk about LeBron, because then a person could try to put me in that category, and I don't want to be in that category. But when you're consistently talking about somebody, constantly bringing their name up negative, no matter how you try to slice it, that is hate, you know? Because I remember there was a radio station in New York, right? Every time they would bring up my name, it would be like, you're saying something negative, and I'm like, where's this coming from? But it comes from people, connections with other people. And because they like these people and these people are saying something negative about you, they begin to be the voice for those people. So when you're looking at old media is just the voice of some man who's sitting in the back that's telling them, no, stay on this topic, stay on this person, stay on this child. And we can't do that. It is what it is. We got to call it fair, and we got to pause, call it straight down the middle. Whatever it is, that's what it is. It is what it is.
It is what it is. So I want to ask both of you guys this, because when Stephen A was talking about the situation, he said LeBron came up to him basically as a father. That was a father that wasn't a player. But obviously we know now that Bronny is an NBA player. Do you feel like people cross the line specifically when discussing Bronny James, Trysta?
I mean, I think he's playing in the league, and at a certain point, criticizing his game is fair play. If you take it into a personal box, in a personal category, then yeah, like you can't really do that as a sports commentator. That's hate. But I think what some people's point is that Bronny James doesn't look good in an NBA arena. He's not ready for those moments. He's not ready for purple and gold, specifically the number 2 team in the West. He's a G League player, but got an opportunity to play NBA minutes simply because his dad said, one of the best players in our generation, said, I'm going wherever Bronny goes. So if he goes to, the Orlando Magic, I'm going to the Orlando Magic for a year. And so that pressure and that level of the squeeze that he kind of put on all the NBA teams allowed the Lakers to take Bronny when maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. And so I guess people think that exposes Bronny to more criticism, considering he shouldn't be there in the first place. That's what their opinion is. But I think people like Bronny. I think fans like Bronny. He's one of the top jersey-selling athletes in the NBA, which is crazy, considering that he has barely played many minutes in an NBA setting. But I think arenas and fans, they kind of like that story.
Yeah, I think with the money that they've given Bronny, I wouldn't have even put him in the G League. I would have actually just kept him on the Lakers and figured out how we could build his confidence on that team. Because I think is more leverage with him on the actual Lakers than the G League. If you're gonna give the guy a couple $1 million, you might as well play him in the pros and play him on that level. Because right now he can't hurt the Lakers. Him being on that team will not hurt it. There's no way it could hurt it. If you put Bronny in, let's say Bronny catch fire on one team. On one team he has a good day. It's only gonna grow his confidence. And if you let him play, and realistically all he have to do with Luka out there and LeBron is be a spot-up shooter and guard his man. That's all he have to do. And I think he can flourish on that team. And early in the season, I was giving him things that he could do. And it may seem like it's cosmetic, but, basketball is all mental. If you could figure out the mental, you could play well, especially if you got the skill set. The boy been playing since he was 5 years old. So can he make a three by himself? Absolutely. Can he guard somebody? Can he get a breakaway and catch a dunk and the whole arena go crazy? Yes. I think that's where you play him at. I don't think it benefits him if he's getting 40 in the G League. To me, it doesn't.
Then, Trysta, do you agree or disagree? Do you think it benefits Bronny to be playing more in the G League or on the Lakers?
I guess it depends on the rotations. I think the one thing to have a two-way player, right, like he's getting G League minutes, he's getting like regular NBA minutes, is he's getting that developmental time where he's getting more in-game action, even though it's at a lower level. I don't think I have enough information in terms of like a real opinion on whether he should be playing specifically only on the Lakers. But I think Mase is right in terms of like building Bronny's confidence. Certainly if he plays well at that setting, even doing little things, and JJ Redick is amazing at finding ways to maximize his players' talents and how to use them together. Like, I think that would cool off a lot of the hate on Bronny if he had even like small little moments where he did something that was highlight worthy.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say real quick before we move on to the next topic, I don't think the hate is ever gonna stop. He's LeBron James's son. He's going to be criticized for the rest of his life, and we know that, and that is okay as long as he keeps his head up and continues to try to be better every day. I think having him play more minutes on the Lakers, it's just going to be difficult. It's the big dogs. I think he's still in a little bit of a more developmental stage, so I think it doesn't hurt him to play more on the G League. And, even though we want to see him, imagine him and LeBron going back and forth throwing lob dunks like in the middle of the game. That would be dope, okay? I want to see that. We're just not there yet. And I think it's okay to say that.
But wasn't that the purpose of him going to the NBA so he could play with his son, right?
Yes, but we ain't seeing that yet. We ain't seen the douche. Like, I want to see all that. I want to see all the theatrics.
Yeah,
As a basketball fan, we do.
Like I said, if he wins a championship with his son, that is the biggest accomplishment any man could have made. That you can start all the conversation after that. You get what I'm saying? But that's where he has to go. And I think with him being on a G League, you can only learn bad behavior. You're not gonna learn the lifestyle of an NBA player in the G League. That's what I'm more concerned about. And now, so I'm gonna take the approach of him as a father. I would have him on the NBA team. We pull all these strings to get him here. We might as well ride the train. Pause. We did it to put him here. Pause. We might as well we might as well ride Paul till the wheels fall off, right? So we got him here. We got Rich Paul involved. Everybody made sure he didn't go to Boston. He ended up going to the Lakers. Let's follow through now. You know what they say? Trust the process, right?
Yeah.
We gotta trust the process. Put that boy in purple and gold, not purple, gold, and green. Not purple, gold, and red, just purple and gold, man, and put him on the Lakers. That's what the fans want to do. This Bronny James jersey is the first jersey I bought of the Lakers since Magic Johnson. So that, yeah. So I'm expecting him to do well, actually. I said what I said earlier, but I think when it's all said and done, pause, the cream rises to the top, and all the pedigree that's in him, somewhere he figures it out, and all of these things that went bad are gonna be great learning curves and tools for him that he'll be able to take that and be better because of it. I don't think he breaks under this pressure. He's grew up in a household of champions. Like he's seen too much.
So we got more Lakers talk here. So during the Lakers versus Celtics game, in which the Celtics won 111-101, LeBron James unfortunately faced an injury in which he had to leave the game early. He is expected to miss up to 2 weeks with a groin strain. Trysta, what are your expectations for the Lakers while he's out? How are we feeling about him being hurt for a little bit of games?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, like if I'm a Laker fan, I just want everybody healthy for the playoffs. Like whatever it's going to take, put Bron on ice for as long as that lasts. They say it's 1 to 2 weeks, but like groin injuries are tough, right? Like that explosiveness that you need, especially with the type of game that LeBron plays with. Like he's got such a ferocity, like this, like explosiveness in terms of how he plays. A lot of quick stops and starts. Like you can re-injure a groin really easily if you're not careful. And they have to really make sure that if this is a team that they think can have a deep run into the playoffs, then they need to make sure that they take every precaution to make sure he's back completely healthy. I think on top of that, it's not just Bron that's injured, right? It's Dorian Finney-Smith is injured. Jackson Hayes, they had to play without a center altogether the other day. Rui Hachimura is injured. Maxi Kleber is injured. Luka still is banged up a little bit. So you have multiple guys that play significant minutes on this team that are banged up, either out or questionable. You play the Bucks twice. You play the Nuggets twice in the next 2 weeks. That's tough. They're going to need heavy minutes from Austin Reeves. He's going to need to ball out. Luka's going to need to thug it out and make sure he's playing when Bron is out. So I think the Lakers are fine. But, I mean, if I had one question mark for them, it's really just how many guys have been injured.
When them losing to the Celtics is of no surprise, you know. I think when it's all said and done, that's the team, if they was in a championship, that they will lose to. They will lose to the world champion Celtics, because that is the best team in basketball to me at this point. I know people like to go out there and talk about the Cavaliers and different people, but when it's all said and done, I think the roster shows like this team is a formidable opponent and can be dominant at any time. And the Lakers didn't surprise me by falling to them. And I think with this team, like she said, with everybody being hurt, here go another reason to bring Bronny out of the G League and let him ball out. I mean, if everybody's hurt, what would it look like a 3-game road trip and the team is Bronny's? Yo, shoot how much you want. Do whatever you need to do for these 3 games. Let's see what you got. I think if he catches fire like Jeremy Lin or somebody like that, the NBA will be on fire. The NBA will be better to look at. It's a story, and the NBA needs a story. This is the story of the year, and I think to see him do well just becomes more product for the NBA.
See,
Mase, why y'all laughing?
I gotta use one of your quotes this time. I just real quick, and Tristan, I'll let you go. I respect your take. But you know how you be saying, now is not the time. Now is not the time. He could go do that on the Jazz. He could go do it on somewhere else. Get somebody else to do it on another team. I don't feel like we ready for all that. And I'm not even. This is your team. This is your Lakers team.
That's
how I'm feeling.
Now is not the time to be shadoring. Now is not the time.
Respectfully, though. Respectfully. But that's my 2 cents.
I was looking at Stat dead in the eyes, bro. And I was like, I think we're having the same exact moment. I mean, you got 5 games.
Wait, Tris. Tread lightly. Because you don't need Savannah James to come at you and tell you stop talking about my son.
5 games separate smooth sailing in the 2 spot and a play-in spot. So you really can't fuck around. You have to play your best players. You have to have certain guys, play through injuries. You can't bring Bronny James out and just let him rock when it's a very tight playoff race. If this was a different team and a different time, and that's just a no for me. That's just, you can't. The risk is too great to bring Bronny out and try to let him put the team on his back with all of these expectations. It's just, like Stat said, it's just not the time for that.
Oh, y'all are really hate.
Respectfully,
now, listen. If I didn't know any better, I'd tell you I didn't like the way that sounded. But I'm let's move forward. I want to see the young man do well.
No,
as do
sure.
I. As do
for
we.
Sure.
And that is not the best spot
but
to
you're
put him
saying
in
now
for that.
it's not the time to let him do well? What are you saying?
No, now is not the time to put him in a very high-risk spot when we're not sure if he is up for that moment. We're not sure if he is ready to take the mantle in like a very tight playoff race. That's it.
That's all. Respect, though. Bronny, we rooting for you.
Like, we're rooting for Bronny. We're rooting for Bronny.
Top vote when it's time. Okay, so Mase, obviously without LeBron, the Lakers will play the next. So we're looking at Luka. Underdog has Luka at 30.5 points. Do you have him higher or lower, Mase?
Luka gotta go crazy. LeBron is not there. It's like you got the house to yourself. This is a glimpse of the future, what LA could look forward to. I got Luka going crazy. I got him getting more. I'm going higher. I'm definitely going higher. I think this is one of those games he could have about 40. He could have 50. Who knows? It depends on how he's feeling and how is his trip back to New York.
Right, and D'Angelo Russell's at 25.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. Do you have him higher or lower?
This is a revenge game. I think he gets his lick back. This definitely got to get his lick back. And if LeBron is not out there, LeBron might chase him down and try to block his dunk. But with LeBron not out there, bumping him, pausing, trying to keep him in place, I think he goes absolutely crazy. Luka is going to go crazy on offense, but we know Luka is not going to play no defense. Luka is not going to smack the floor and be with his hands out defensive sliding. So I'm going higher. I think he goes crazy tonight. I think he go absolutely crazy. And, hitting his chest and all that. You know how people do. In his veins, ice cold and the arrow, everything you can think about. Just everything.
Excellent. Okay, we'll see what happens. We're going to go to break. When we return, got to talk about Jokic. He made history again. So we'll talk about his stat when we return.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. What's stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about she wanna be free.
Welcome back. So it's time to talk about Jokic. He made history after recording the first ever 30, 20, and 20 game. He finished with 31, 21, and 22 in their 149 to 141 overtime win versus the Suns. My question to you, Trysta, out of everyone who has played the game of basketball, are you shocked that Jokic is the one to make this stat?
Ooh, I don't think so. I mean, just what Jokic has had to do consistently on this team is everything, right? And he's been averaging a triple-double this season, right? It's his 29th triple-double of the year, 149th triple-double of his career. You look at what he's been doing just for the year, right? Like, he's averaging, I think, 13 rebounds per game. 11 assists and 29 points per game, something like that. My stats are just a little bit lower in my notes, but yeah, his court vision's incredible. His ability to get rebounds for his team. He has to do a little bit of everything in order for them to continue to stay like in the top 3, top 4 of the West. Out of everyone, I mean, he's a 7-footer who's the focal point of the offense, right? And so, no, I'm not surprised, but that's a disgusting stat line. That's just a disgusting stat line that I don't know when we're going to see that again.
Kind of surprised, actually. I thought Russell Westbrook, when he was balling, going crazy, came close, if I'm not mistaken. I remember Russell Westbrook going absolutely crazy and going on that triple-double tear. So he would be the person that I thought would have gotten it back in that time. But I'm not surprised with Luka. He's been very dominant. I don't know if this makes him supremely dominant now. Are we ready to just say he's supremely dominant, like on Wilt Chamberlain level, on Bill Russell level, on a little bit, and this is going to sound crazy, but a little bit higher than Shaq? To say 30, 20, and 20, that's a little bit more dominant than Shaq. And I know that sounds crazy because I have Shaq as the big man of all big men, pause, but when I'm thinking about it, when it's all said and done, we might be having a conversation that Jokic is more dominant than Shaq.
That's a good point.
And it sounded crazy with me saying it, but every time I say it, it sounds more truthful than the first time. Because Shaq was getting 30 and 20, but he wasn't getting 30, 20, and 20. Right? He'll have 20 rebounds, 40 points, but that other 20 means I'm just controlling everything on the court. All the rebounds are mine. I'm controlling who score, who doesn't. I'm controlling when I score and when I don't. It's like his fingerprint is all over the game, all over the game. So I'm ready to say that when it's all said and done, he's going to be better than Shaq. He's going to be more dominant than Shaquille O'Neal, and that's very high praise. And I have to say that because sometimes when we have these conversations, people think I'm stuck in the past or something, like I'm just going with everybody from before. No, if you do something that's worthy, and he didn't jump from team to team, I can go with this. He didn't join a team so he could be good. This is the team that he came in with, the players he struggled with, the players that they were both new players and not doing well. And now we see him dominating with his day one niggas. That's great.
Yeah. So I want to ask both of y'all, I just feel like Jokic is always breaking some crazy stat, and it's just like when we see him do something, we're like, yeah, he does that. Like, do you guys feel like he's even close to like reaching his ceiling? Like, I just feel like we always see him kind of one up himself.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right, Stat, because if you look at his MVP seasons, he continues in some category to get better. His first MVP season, I believe his assist number was much lower and his rebound number was somewhere in this neighborhood. But then you look at what he's been doing in terms of shooting the three ball, he's shooting over 40% from three right now. 43% from three, which he's never been known as like a particularly good high volume shooter. We know of him in playoff settings being able to knock down it from deep, but like to get better in different categories, and on top of that, defensively, he's gotten better. Jokic is top 5 in steals right now. He's impacting the game in so many different ways, and he's been known as a negative defender. And Tyrese Halliburton talked about this earlier on in the season, and he said the way that Jokic defends, he changes the way that Tyrese looks and mixes up his reads in the pick and roll setting, just because of how Jokic sees the game, and it spooks guards. So I don't think that we've seen the best from Jokic, and it's tough because there's voter fatigue, because you could say that this is Jokic's best year of his.
What's voter fatigue?
Basically, we don't want to give you the MVP because we want somebody else to get it, right? And we're tired of giving Jokic MVP after MVP. And that doesn't diminish what Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is doing. He's been incredible this year. They're number 1 in the West again. He's leading the league, or at least one of the top in deflections per game and steals per game. He's a walking bucket. He had 40 points last night. But if you gave Jokic these 3 MVPs, and he's better than those years, it's really hard not to say that it's very close between him and Shai. And now I know that people are going to say, okay, but Shai put up 40 on the Nuggets, and Jokic didn't have a great game. But if you look into it, the Thunder sat Chet, they sat Shai, and they sat one other player, Isaiah Hartenstein, since Wednesday. They played Memphis on Wednesday, and they sat everybody out on Friday so that they could be ready for these games. And Jokic and all the other Nuggets players played on Friday. So they were tired, which is why OKC had such a great fourth quarter.
Tristan, I'm working on your application for Titletown. I like the way you're looking at it. You're calling it even. We're not for that on It Is What It Is. You cannot take the cheat route, the Barry Bonds route, and get there. Can I say Barry Bonds? Can I say Barry Bonds?
Yeah, you can say Barry Bonds.
You can't take the Barry Bonds route. Did they was Barry Bonds accused of anything?
I think just PEDs, right?
Well, was it proven? It was never proven, right? No, then we can't say Barry Bonds because it wasn't proven. It wasn't proven. So forget Barry Bonds. Forget Barry Bonds. But I'm saying moving forward, we got to call it like it is. If you rest 8 days so you could be good against me, and I've been playing every game, every minute, of course you're going to be fresher. You've been rested. You hear my voice? I've been working. There's things you're doing. So somebody come in, this is the only game they got to be good at. It doesn't mean the same as a person that's doing it day after day without rest. You get what I'm saying? Your one good day is not equivalent to my all year work. And I know Stat's going to jump in. Stat wants to jump in with Gen Z. Go ahead, Stat. Gen Z us.
Gen Z is funny. I just want to clarify something, because Tristan, you said voters fatigue, right? So do you feel like Jokic, and it's okay if you're still trying to figure out what you're thinking, but do you feel like Jokic should win MVP, but they would give it to somebody else because they feel like he's won it too much? Because I want to clarify that.
That's crazy. Sticky. That's crazy. I heard it in your voice that, will they give it to him because he wins too much?
Well, that's
hating. That is definitely hating. I don't care how much lipstick she put on it. Pause. That's super hating. Nick, did you hear that? Give it to him because he wins too much? That was a super pause too, but
it was.
Go ahead, Trisha.
So that's definitely, in my opinion, why Joel Embiid won the MVP, right? Because Joel Embiid had a campaign. He was crying. He was complaining. There was a media push. The media absolutely impacts the MVP vote, what gets written about players, what coverage happens on ESPN, Fox Sports, whatever, right? And the reason they didn't want to give it to Jokic is because they didn't want to give him 3 in a row. And he hadn't won anything yet. And then it just so happens that he won the title that very year. So it ended up kind of backfiring in the voters against them. So then they give it to Jokic again the next year, and here we are again now. And I'm going to say this. Shea absolutely is doing everything that qualifies as an MVP. The team is top 2 in the West. They're number 1 in the West. You need to be top in the conference, right? Or number 1, period. So it has to be one of those things outside of Russell Westbrook, who won it when he was averaging a triple-double. So that's the case. He's awesome offensively and defensively. And he's doing all the little things, and he's having a lot of highlight-worthy moments. He's had a bunch of 50-point games. He's had 40-point games. And he's the next man up. He's the guy that last year we kind of thought maybe he was going to win it this year. So it was kind of already written. We want to give it to Luka, and he had all these injuries. So, yeah, I think voter fatigue is a real thing. Do I think if Shea had won it 2 years ago, that he would win it this year instead of Jokic? I do not. I think if Shea has already won MVP, if he would have won it last year, Jokic would have won it this year. And even with the way that these two men are playing this very year. So, yeah, I think that plays into it. But I don't want that to take away at all from how I feel about Shea, because I think he's absolutely deserving. But I think they're way closer neck and neck, than people want to give it to them for, because of especially this last game that they played. A lot of people are saying, well, Shea has locked up the MVP.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yo, Nick, I wanted to ask you something. You could just put thumbs up or down. Do you use washcloths? I'm doing a study. You do? Okay. I just wanted to know. There's something people are asking online. I just wanted to know.
It's a white, non-white thing.
Right? Oh, it
like
is.
They say it's like the white folks don't use washcloths, right?
So that's a myth then. It's a myth. Nick said he used washcloths. Trysta, do you use?
I use a loofah, which is like the
sponge.
The sponge, yeah, the netted sponge.
Oh.
I think washcloths are a great use for the loofah, but the thing about the washcloth is that you have to like hang it up to dry it out, or you gotta. It can get kind of funky if you're not.
Yeah, I asked this question because I knew you would go viral, but I didn't ask you, so I asked Nick so you could chime in. Because people wanted me to ask you, but I didn't have the courage. So I asked Nick, and then in asking Nick, I knew it'd come to you. So for everybody out there, it is what it is. It's broke the secret. It's not true. We got Caucasian friends that have washcloths.
But I also did use Murray's hair grease, so I don't know really if that fits.
Yeah, you might not be Caucasian. You might not be Caucasian.
The baby hairs. You see these?
Oh my goodness, you got a lot of baby hair.
So I had the Murrays for the hair, for the baby hair when I would get twisted up.
She said she used Murrays. You know what Murrays is, Stat?
Yeah, but I use Edge Booster. Because that's how you split the edges.
That's the Gen Z thing. We didn't have Edge Booster.
Yeah, Murrays.
Murray's is the OG, but
your hair stays slick for 9 days.
Yeah, not even that though, because with certain texture, my kinky curly is not laying. I got to use a whole bunch of different.
Okay, but the lies are out. White people do use washcloths. It's not a real thing. People needed to hear that.
Nick uses a washcloth.
She uses a loofah.
She uses a washcloth. She uses a loofah. Yeah.
That sounds crazy. A loofah.
But the rumor or the adage is that it's just hands. You know, it's just soap and hands. You know.
Yeah, that's nasty.
Well,
but
I had friends growing up who use their hands, because I'll be like, "Where's the washcloth?" They're like, "We don't use washcloths." I was like, "What do you mean you don't use a washcloth?"
Dirty booties. Dirty booties.
Goodies.
So like, don't go over his house. You gotta bring your own stuff and go to the store. And don't eat in everybody's kitchen. So yeah,
A
what you learn?
loofah is crazy. That's
Yeah.
the joint.
Yeah. It's this little loofah. And then you swap them out. You get a new loofah.
Yeah.
Take us away, stat like Calgon.
Okay, here we go. So speaking of coverage, talking about the media and then just things about voters, it's kind of funny because Charles Barkley had some words, which Mase, this is very interesting because I'm just gonna tell you, you said this first in a certain way. So basically, he's supposed to be later starting at ESPN in about a year or so, and he specifically had some words for his future coworker Kendrick Perkins. So he went on a rant about ESPN coverage toward the Lakers and the Warriors. Sounds real familiar, right?
Yes.
He was saying teams like the Cavs and OKC are having better overall seasons, but don't receive the same amount of coverage. He said specifically, and I quote, "I saw a fool on an idiot on TV talking about the Lakers saving the NBA. He's an idiot and a fool, but he knows who he is. What's his name, Shaq? Kendrick Perkins." He said, "Them fools at the other network, which we're going to be working at next year, that's all they talk about." Mase, you've got to go first. What's your opinion on his take about media outlets always talking about the Lakers and the Warriors, even though you said it first?
Yeah. I mean, let's start with this. Like Stat said, I must say it again. I said it first. They talk about what they have to talk about. Now, let me tell you this. If you take LeBron off of the Lakers, they're not talking about the Lakers. They're not going to consistently talk about the Lakers other than they're told to talk about the Lakers. There's better stories other places. I know Cleveland doesn't seem like a good story, but what if it was the Lakers versus the Cavs in the championship? You know how much Dan Gilbert would love to cut the net down on LeBron James and his son? Cut the nets down on him and his baby in Cleveland? You talk about a story. Let's put some respect like Birdman on the Cavs' name, on Dan Gilbert's name. He figured it out. He bounced back. Yeah, they ran off with the plug, but he bounced back. Pause. He's back in the contention, you know. Him and his day ones is back rolling with his woes. Dan Gilbert might be able to say, "Come on, my nigga, you thought y'all was gonna get one over on me. You know I was gonna be back." I'm like that. I'm like that. So when you got Kendrick Perkins, you know, shout out to Perk, you know, Perk tries his best to keep it 100, I think, for the most part. He questioned things, he talks on things that he should. But you know, he work where he work. He gotta say what he gotta say. He got, you know, the baby need a pair of shoes. He gotta do what he gotta do. I like Perk, but I do like Barkley too. They both are some of my favorite commentators. So I don't really have a horse in the race. I think they both do their thing, but I definitely understand. That would be a good fight. It would be a good fight. Not that I support violence, but that would be a good fight. No punching. They probably wrestle and get this. Perkins could probably, you know, put him to sleep. If they're not punching, because you know Barkley hands is good. They work, you know.
Yeah, I don't think ESPN's ready for those TNT guys. I really don't think they're ready for it. They don't pull any punches, and that's without Shaq getting into the mix, because Shaq says some wild things too, and he's not afraid to come direct. I did a video one time saying I didn't like the way that he did the interview with Angel Reese, and he got into my DMs and like came at me direct and then blocked me immediately.
Oh, Shaq blocked you? Shaq, you blocked Trysta? Come on, Superman. Come on, Superman can't block Lois Lane.
I couldn't text him, DM him back, because he blocked me, and I didn't have the heart to make a video about it. But I think that when
you better not make a video about Shaq. You said you don't use a washcloth. You definitely can't be making no video about Shaq. And you know everybody up there at TNT. That's our family. I love Shaq. I love Kenny. Love Ernie. Those are my dogs. You know, and Shaq. Everybody up there. But Perk is my guy too. You know, I like Perk out of all the people up there at ESPN because he tries to stay straight. You know what I'm saying? He tries to say it like it is. He don't have a pony in the race. You know.
And
And he doesn't
ESPN,
be doing too much. He doesn't troll.
yeah, and ESPN does tell them, what to cover, right? And I think that is something that the TNT guys, when they come in, they're going to do whatever they want to do. I don't think they're going to listen to the producers. But Stephen A. and Perk and all those guys, they don't want to talk about Cleveland. Cleveland's not a sexy story. They don't want to talk about Detroit. Detroit's one of the best stories in the NBA right now. They don't want to talk about OKC. They don't want to talk about small markets, right? They don't think that that drives ratings. But in the long term, there's a real argument to be made that that's not good for the growth of the NBA either, to just focus on these
Yes.
big market teams. So it's gonna be fascinating to see when those two groups come together. Pause.
I like Detroit and teams like that because the city alone has a lot of new things that are happening there. You got football going well for Detroit. You got basketball. You got hip hop. It's a lot of things that is brewing in the city of Detroit. So shout out to Detroit. Shout out to my boy Kennedy. That's from there as well. Shout out to Bobby Brown. It's a lot of good people out there.
Yeah. So I do just want to say real quick, so like when discussing, like topics and like media and stuff like that, like in like journalism, obviously it's always going to come down to the storyline. And even though it's sports media and we're talking candidly about different things going on, you still want a storyline that people can follow, which is why I think talking about the Warriors and Lakers is so popular amongst all the networks, shows, and things like that. But that doesn't mean that we have to just talk about them. Everybody still has favorites. So in you guys' opinion, what teams, and I'll say besides the Lakers and the Warriors, do you think have the best storylines, fun stories that's kind of made you tune in more because of what they've got going on in their team? And Tristan, I'm gonna let you go first.
Yeah, I'll touch on it more. I think for me, like we were gonna talk about this last week, which is a Coach of the Year race, and Kenny Atkinson in Cleveland right now is sort of sealed up the Coach of the Year race. But if you look at what Detroit was last year, the year before that, pretty much like, I don't know, for a long time, they've been cheeks. They had 14 wins last year, 17 wins the year before that. Last year, they broke a record for consecutive losses in a row. I mean, they're consistently the top lottery team in terms of odds to win number one. So they fire their GM. They fire their head coach. They've got the same young core, right? And then they add in Malik Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr., and Tobias Harris. And JB Bickerstaff gets fired from the Cavs and comes on to the Detroit Pistons, and they are one game out of the 4 seed. So I think, and then the way they play is like bruising, like back alley, tough guy basketball, like the old era that we like to see with guys like Isaiah Stewart, who got into it with LeBron James a couple of years ago. He's tough, like Jalen Duren, and Cade Cunningham, as a result, has flourished. So I think they're just a fun watch. They can beat anybody on any given night. I could see them maybe upsetting somebody depending on the seed in the first round. They're a super fun story. I think they don't get nearly as much credit or coverage as they should get.
I like that choice. I like that choice of Detroit, especially, like I said, everything I previously stated. Detroit is a fun city in itself. So when you got a team that's on a resurgent that have that kind of legacy of being a championship team and having some prominent years, it is excited to see a team get back that was away from that glory for so long. So I'm 100% in agreement with you on that. Detroit. Detroit and Cleveland definitely. And another team I think is an exciting story that we need to focus on more is the Houston Rockets. You know, the Houston Rockets being a team that looks like they're trying to do some things and I like what how you say his name again, Udoka.
Yep, that's
Yeah,
it.
I got it right. See what happened? You start winning more, people know your name. They get it right. We didn't know Giannis' name when he first started. We just said who Genesis, whatever his name is. You know, he start balling out. We start knowing exactly. That's Anya Kupo. Is that how you say it?
No. Oh yeah, Antetokounmpo. Yeah.
Antetokounmpo.
I mean, Cam
Yeah.
was calling Caleb Williams collab for the longest.
No
Yeah,
way.
yeah. Collab, yeah. Super disrespectful. You know, that boy, the Heisman, he go Killa to my collab. What's his name, Mase? Collab. Cam, the man name is Caleb. But he didn't hit that radar yet.
That was like the Key and Peele skit where they were like, "Where's D Nice in this bitch? Is D Nice here?" She's like, "My name's Denise." Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Be like that, but hey, we know their names. I mean, I already knew their names, but now everybody knows their names, so
Yeah.
it's good. Okay, last thing before we wrap, y'all, we got a race. We don't have a specific date, but we have a time frame. Tyreek Hill and Noah Lyles officially agreed to race. It will take place sometimes in the spring or the summer. This is after Tyreek Hill and Noah Lyles were going back and forth, talking about that they would be able to race each other. Noah Lyles said it would be a blowout, but Trysta, in your opinion, who do you got winning? What do you think's going to happen with this?
Yo, I love Tyreek. I love him. I'm just gonna say this off rip. Tyreek, you're one of the fastest, like quick wide receivers we've ever seen in the game, but he's about to get smoked. He is going to get smoked. Like when you look at what Noah Lyles does, I pull up some times here. Noah Lyles, any good pro in the 60 meters runs under 6.60. Last year, Tyreek's time that he ran was 6.7. That's a smoke. Pause. If you look at what Noah Lyles did in the 40 time, his best time in the 40 is 3.34. That's insane. The best 40 in the NFL is 4.22. John Ross. I don't know what this is about. I mean, they've had a lot of squabbling online, and Tyreek thinks I like the bravado. I like the ego. I like the confidence that Tyreek has. But he's getting a little long in the tooth. He's not a young man now, Tyreek Hill. So I don't think.
Tooth. What
Yeah,
is that? That's a southern term. Long in the tooth. What is that?
That's peach tea. It's sweet tea. I don't know. I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna get crushed. I think he's gonna get crushed.
But I don't know.
It's basically saying he's getting a little older. That's what
Yeah,
it's
he's
basically
getting old.
saying.
He's getting old. He's
I
got
think
his ear hair coming out.
Yeah, I think he's just keeping his name in the Fast family. You know how people start to do what we were talking about this early. Attach your name to something hot by putting yourself in the conversation with them. You get what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
a guy's saying right now, who's the best rapper? Me, Kendrick, or Drake. A young guy could say that right now, and people are like, I didn't have you with Kendrick and Drake. But if he keeps saying it, then people put him in that group, and ultimately he can get some juice from it. Pause. But that's how people do it. They just link their name with what's hot.
Honestly, it couldn't have been better said because, yes, at the end of the day, Noah Lyles is an Olympic champion, y'all. Olympian! Olympian! You can't be better than that. World champion. You're not
But does
touching
that mean
that.
he's gonna win? But does that mean he's
Yes.
gonna win?
Yes.
So you're going against
I'm not
Florida.
higher or lower higher. Yes.
You
Shout
you
out
going
Tyreek Hill.
against Florida.
I'm with the world. Like world
Oh
champion.
my goodness,
World
Stat.
champion.
Go
That's
Stat,
back.
you
that.
gotta stop. Stat,
That's
Stat, you
that.
gotta stop.
That's that.
You going against Florida for an
That's
Olympic?
that. That's that. I'm sorry. And Tyreek Hill's he's from Georgia. So like yes, he's in Florida, but
Oh my
he ain't
goodness.
from Pembroke Pines, he ain't from Tampa, he ain't from Jacksonville, he ain't from Orlando, he ain't from Western Chapel, he ain't from what? Tallahassee. So
Well, you go
hey,
against me, Stat. I'm from Jacksonville.
no, never you. We don't go against
Okay.
family. That's that
All
part.
right.
That part. We know that. But yeah, Olympic champion, I'm over it. And then no LYLES, he's from Gainesville. So he's actually the real Florida.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. He
So,
on the line. But we'll let him be with us.
yeah. He said, I guess. Nah, he deserves it. He's definitely gonna win versus TYREEK Hill. It'll be fun to see. I think when people argue they should just do more competitive things either, because honestly,
underdog need to make
that part.
TYREEK Hill versus what's his name again?
No LYLES.
No LYLES. Yeah.
Go ahead and do LeBron versus Stephen A. They could do something. Go ahead, do Charles Barkley versus Kendrick Perkins. At this point, everybody want a verse.
Yeah.
Stop talking.
What would LeBron do versus Stephen A?
I don't know. Give me dodgeball. I don't know.
You fishing bad lines,
Give me anything. Give me dodgeball. Give me, I don't know. Stephen A said he's been in the gym. He's been shooting, so he got something.
Horse. Let them play horse against each other.
That would be funny though. I would watch it. But anyways, y'all, that's all the time that we have for today. Trysta, pleasure to have you on the show. We appreciate you, the family. Thank y'all for watching, and as always,
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs, like when they doing them 2 for $5.